Am I the one lost, Andrew?
You are not. Ezra was gone quiet.
All right.
I even thought I disappeared, Bwana.
I thought it was me. I'm too far away from the Wi-Fi. All right, Andrew, take over this conversation, man.
Ezra. It's Ezra who was giving us that story, yeah? Okay, Ezra has disappeared. Let's hear from Karanja, then I'll come to you, Brian. Karanja, what did you want to say? McKenna, you also wanted to say something, and I see you put down your hand. Maybe the point came across. Karanja.
Yes, Steve.
What's up?
Ezra has sort of expressed, I don't know what to call it, the way we have shifted from the discussion we had about fathers.
Yes.
To the Mariam. Was it Mariam or Miriam?
It was Mariam, yes.
I would agree with him. You know, this phase is all about us to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Before they distract us with their views and opinions, you told them when they come to this space, they take the back seat, they watch. When time comes for them to express their views, give them the chance.
Are you saying we fell for Mariam's ploy?
Yes, you fell for that.
Okay.
So, I had this question also to continue the discussion we had about fathers. I mentioned about his continuous drunkenness behavior. Now, the way you have exposed my mind to this other view, why he has been behaving like that, do you think from the way he analyzes the situation, his family, wife has taken sides with the kids, with the kids, do you think that can be so hard on him so that to a point that he's unable to stop this habit of drinking and it continue increasing because he's at 60 now, and from what I've seen over the years, when men reaches to a certain age, especially if they are heavy consumers of alcohol, they stop. But with my dad, you see it's as if it is increasing. Do you think it is having the impact on him? The situation of his family, he's not in terms with any kid. The wife is on the same side with the.
He's not in touch with any kid.
I mean, they struggle to relate with him.
Or your brothers and sisters.
Yes.
Man, that guy must be dying slowly, looking at his 10 children, not wanting to be a part of his life. And you guys have all gone to and taken the mom's side, and this guy now is, man, you guys must be frustrating the shit out of that guy.
I'm starting seeing it from that angle. I didn't see that before.
Yeah, man, this guy, he's probably just drowning himself every day, looking at his 10 kids. Do you know how much sacrifice as a man, Karanja? How much sacrifice as a man you have to do to raise one child? And then now you're telling me there are 10 of you. This guy has probably lost everything. He sacrificed everything in his life. Everything, including his power, and gave the woman the power so that she can help him raise the kids. And now she took the power and corrupted it. And now she has turned it against him. Now the same power he gave her, she is using it to destroy him. And the guy cannot go anywhere because he's given you, motherfucker, 60 of his years, bro. And here you are saying he's a drunkard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just think about that. He has given you guys everything. He sacrificed everything. You don't know how things were between him and your mother. You don't know how much sacrifice he's had to put in there. So your mom is the one who comes. And so most of the time, these things happen in the bedroom. He gives her everything in the bedroom, and then she comes and says, oh, your father is not this, your father is not that. And you'll never know. But now that you're a grown-up, don't you think it's time for you to at least to take some experiences from other people and realize that maybe your mom was evil and your dad, because of not knowing better, gave away his power to the woman? And if you continue the way you're going, even you and your siblings will end up just like these two people that you hate. It's not good for children to be given to their parents. Do you guys know that? It's not good.
You keep it. I'm learning now that not good, but also they have contributed this idea to us growing up. Like they take us to school. When we start earning after school, it's like now we start taking care of them.
Oh
they,
no.
they have also programmed us that way. Like I finished school before I even start thinking of having my own family. The few chums I get along the way, part of it goes back home automatically.
Yeah, that is because somebody has been in your head and they've been guilting you to think that they have done you a favor. Let me tell you, you being raised in any family, whether it is a poor family or a rich family, nobody has done you a single favor. It's not a favor they did you, bro. You did not ask to come here. They got you. So it is their responsibility to make sure that you turn out right. Okay?
Well,
Yes. So all these things that you're doing, they have to be in tandem with your reality as a man. You cannot go out of your manhood to behave unmanly just because it is your mother. You cannot go into a man's house and talk to his wife. Can you do that?
No.
James, Karanja, if you were to come to my house and talk to my wife and start giving my wife money, is she my wife anymore?
It's easy to be your wife.
You've heard me saying, as long as a woman is leaving her house to go work for somebody else, she's not 100% this guy's wife. You've heard me say that, right? She belongs to the boss and to him. They are sharing.
Mm-hmm.
So now your mother is now your wife. That's why maybe even George, I don't know whether it's George who called you son husband, because now you're taking your father's wife away from him. Now your mother calls you directly, and now she's giving you. It makes you feel good because you're sorting out a woman's problems. You're feeling like, a king. That's what men feel like whenever we're sorting issues. It gives us that satisfaction. But now you're taking that satisfaction away from your father and his bitch. So his bitch cannot see him as powerful anymore. Now his bitch has turned her attention to you and any other of her children that has money. The ones who don't have money don't receive the same phone calls. Do you know that? The ones who don't have chums are the ones who are, so what are we going to do? Those are the conversations they have. But the ones who have money, those are the ones who they manipulate the best way possible. Hold on, Karanja. Brian, what did you want to say?
Just to combine some aspects here, what Ezra was talking of, I don't know what women tend to want to destroy. This falls under the concept of feminine energy, the need for feminine energy to be contained through strengthening of masculinity. Case study. The lady Mariam came here, the conversation was online in a different, in a normal flight path or our normal route. The lady comes in, introduces some weird shit topics that I didn't even bother to chip in. Then I think it was on Monday. Is it Monday or Tuesday? The ship was going very steady. Then two women came in. One was, castigating someone for asking you why you're in America. The other one came in and started bringing her brand of noise. So in fact, I put in the tweets, within 2 minutes, within even 1 second of feminine energy getting into the space, the ship, the Andrew Kibe morning would show that ship nearly had an engine failure and you had to manually reboot. You had to manually reboot the navigation system because it was just like, hey, where are we going? 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes, 2 women. That is 60 seconds per woman. You nearly suffer a catastrophic engine failure. You had to manually reboot the navigation system. 2 minutes. Now refer to people who have like an entire lifetime of women around them. So gentlemen, these spaces are to strengthen our masculinity. In fact, I tend to think that masculinity is the target. We are the ones being targeted here. And if you want to become a target, put focus on strengthening your masculinity. The same way, for example, if you are to say you employ a security guard on your premises, then someone pops up, hey, Kibe, why are you employing a security officer? Is it necessary? That is a thief. If somebody is questioning you of why you have employed an askari, that person is a thief. And the same way somebody questions you or cancels you because you are actually stating things, you're stating truths about how masculinity is being eroded. There's something screwed about that person. And nowadays, you don't even have to talk shit or don't have to castigate women. All you need to do about is talking about strengthening men, and hordes of hormone-driven vultures will be all over you. So, gentlemen, let's keep doing what we're doing. Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah. Okay. McKenna, what's up?
Hi, Kib. I just wanted to add in your point from a personal experience. There was a time my sister called me and she told me her son was doing very well and she would like him to go to a better school. So me, with my puny mind, I told her I can support her, I can pay for him without consulting the husband. So I went ahead and sent her some money to move the son to a different school, a better one. Man, he was almost chased from that home. Since then, we are not in good terms with my in-laws. So you can imagine sometimes interfering with other people's institution of marriage, how it can damage relationships. And you think it's their problem, but you have a hand to do with it. So I just wanted to add in a point from my personal experience.
Yeah, and McKenna, thank you. And you know, this is a big problem. If you go out of a situation, do not assume that you know what they are going through. Do not assume, like, some of the issues that they are going through because of you being out of that situation, they look so insurmountable and so huge. Like when you see a man and his woman walking from the village center, and they are both drunk and they are pissing on themselves and they are fighting. And if you look at them, you would want to remove them out of that hell you think they are in because of now your new perception or your new perspective. Rock, are you here?
Yes, Kibe. I was been listening to the discussion, and I think George was saying talking to me is like pounding water, and just doing nothing. Which I'm feeling. But there is one interesting point that George made that I think I might take him on for it. He said a few years ago he decided to cut some people off for a period of a few months and told them he had lost his job, whatever, and the phone calls disappeared. I think that honestly that might be something that I might be willing to try. Maybe for like a month or something and see, just do an experiment and see what ends up happening.
Yeah, but beyond the experiment, because now we already have George's experiment and we know it works. Okay.
Yeah,
we know the experiments work. If you even there's a guy called Bitangen Demo. When he was the ICT minister, he used to be very popular. The day he stopped being the minister, immediately the phone calls dried out. Okay, so you don't have to do that experiment to prove that it works. It always works. Okay, but I want you to be a man and stand up for what it is that you want or what it is that you believe in, and say, "I am a man. I stand with this." Okay? So nobody's manipulating you. You're doing what exactly you want to do. But also remember, even as you do what you want to do not go interfering in other people's lives. Even as you do what you want to do, because sometimes you might be a dick about it. Okay? But if you're a dick, you are killing everything else around you, thinking because it makes you feel good.
Yeah, it makes you feel good. It comes from, you realize that it also comes from a position of guilt more than anything,
It's all ego, bro. It's all ego. It's all your ego. It's all you trying to make yourself feel good. And they make you feel bad, and then you make them feel good.
Yeah, because I'm just saying this because I was talking to one of my roommates here, and also the guy is from Mexico, and he has family from Mexico, and he also made a choice to cut off all the family baggage. And before, he used to go to Mexico and he would have a good time, and now he hasn't been back there in like 6 years, because all his like siblings and family, as soon as he stopped sending money, they just cut him off and they don't talk to him anymore.
Yeah, just say no, and you'll find that. And man, if you start, how long have you been in Stato?
I've been here for a long time. Maybe right now it's been maybe like 15 years.
Oh man, I had that 15 in my head. Yeah, so at 15 years, you should have known how to have dealt with them, because 15 years is a long time. 15 years, there's nothing back home for you.
Yeah, but I've been going back. The only reason why I feel so connected is I've been going back a lot. Like I go back almost every year.
Yeah. The naivety of your statements. The 15 by now, you should have created your own life in America. You should have, because there's nothing for you back at home, because they don't look at you the same anymore. You know that, huh?
What do you mean? Like,
man, they are you using headphones or Bluetooth? Man, there's so much.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So stop. That movement is creating a lot of noise here.
Okay. What were you saying?
I'm saying once you leave the country, bro, even if you go to Uganda, forget traveling all the way to America. Even if you go to the next door neighbor and you stay there for a year and then go back home, they view you as different. You're not the same person anymore. The moment you get into a plane and you go to America, or you go to the UK or Europe, even Dubai, they view you as different. And now you have that person who was with them no longer exists. Now there's a new person. There's a new relationship. So even when you go back home, they're looking at you as, what have you brought us? Yeah, how can we eat from you? How can we use you? Because we know at the end of the day, you're still going back. So it's not real. It stops being real.
Yeah, because I've always thought that people in Kenya right now, things the way they are right now, they are not the same as they were maybe even 5 years ago, because the economy is like really bad, and you see how the dollar
man, get all that noise out of your head. What do you mean economy, dollar? What are you talking about, bro? Talk about real things.
Because everything is expensive right now, even like the price of unga, they were saying.
Oh, bro. Get that out of your head. Nobody in Kenya is dying, okay? All these things you guys read in the papers, and they get to you, and you see Kenyans in diaspora emotional, talking about food prices. What the fuck are you guys talking about? That is none of your business. Everybody's a grown-up. Children are the ones we worry about. And children are the people who worry about the children are the parents. Not the cousins, not you who. If you are the father and the mother, those are the people who worry about children. Everything else doesn't exist. So what even though unga is 500 bob? If you don't buy it, you go eat rats or something. I mean, that's what life is about. But now you are here, you're in America, thinking that now you're just sorting out problems in Africa. That's what everybody thinks. Fuck that. Felix, hold up. Felix, what did you want to say?
Yeah, I wanted to give Karanja a live example of myself. I told you some time earlier that I'm paying child support.
No, you didn't tell me.
I shared that story. If you never got it, you never got it. The puny you are.
You're paying child support for where?
Yeah, I'm paying. There's a kid I signed outside, and I'm giving her mom like 5 Gs a month. So I would want to Karaja to know the kind of conditioning going on in that small nigger's mind that I don't do anything, while on this other side, I'm busy spending chums per month, bro. And this nigga is going to grow up bitter. My dad never helped me.
My dad was a deadbeat. Ancient
A
nigga.
deadbeat, no, absent, what, and those nonsense words. And this guy is going to be a grown-up hating me for no apparent reason, you know. But on my side, I'm sending five Gs every month so that they can cater for him and give him some good life.
How old is he?
He's 5.
Oh, man. So you've been sending for a minute, huh?
Bro, I'm sending money like, bro. So, Mr. Karanya should know that just like his father, maybe his father has been doing that, only that he's not privy to that situation, just the way I'm sending, and my kid is being told, I ain't shit, and I don't even send anything, and I'm deadbeat.
Felix, the way you say that,
So I should start
feeling your pain.
What are you saying?
I said the way you say it, the way you're saying that 5 Gs, I can feel the pain in your voice.
No, it's not. What I'm trying to say is that I'm trying to give Karanja the analogy of his father's situation, you know, because his father might be paying these things through the mother. But what Karanja sees is the mother doing the way I'm doing to my kid, because I send the money to her mom, to his mom, and his mom is doing all these other things. So what my kid is seeing is his mom doing these things and not me, who is a deadbeat and absent. You get that?
Yeah, but maybe Karanja is just a mama's boy, you know. He's a mama's boy and he loves his mom.
Yeah, so...
Rook.
Yeah, Karanja, are you a mama's boy?
No, and would you divine us to who is a mama's boy? Maybe...
A mama's boy, it's someone who is attached, more attached to their mother than their father, pretty much.
Come on, I'm not.
But who is this? The Rock. Who do you send money to?
I send money. So myself, I wasn't really raised by my mom. I was raised by my dad. So probably my dad and my brothers.
Your dad is dead?
No, my dad is still alive. Still very much alive and kicking.
Oh, did he remarry or where is he?
No, he's he remarried another lady, and he also has a kid with that lady.
Okay, so you're helping that kid as well?
No, I'm not helping that kid as well. I'm helping my dad, and through my dad, he's helping the kid and his wife and his family.
So how do you distribute the chums? Every month you break it down and say 20 to this one.
I've kind of set aside a budget like for family problems of like 1,500 a month. So I would distribute. So every month I would send like $500 to my dad, and then some of my brothers, depending on their responsibility, some of them I would send them $100, some of them like $200. So just like that.
And what does your white girlfriend have to say about all this?
She has no idea. She cannot know about this information.
If she was to know, you guys are breaking up.
No, I mean, if she was to know, that's it. It's game over. That's what I'm saying. There is no way she can be able to put her mind into. Her mind is just so different, you know. Like even my girlfriend, she was telling me like, as soon as, because she's my girlfriend is a nurse. She was telling me as soon as she got her first nursing job, the first thing that she did was to go somewhere and to go to a car lot and buy a brand new Mercedes. A brand new Mercedes Benz. Me, the first, when I got my job, the first thing I was thinking about was, how am I going to support my family and take care of my dad, you know?
So that we don't belabor this point too much. And mute your mic now. Mute your mic, because there's so much, that noise doesn't disappear. Camden Kazunguza. I was going to take us somewhere else, but Camden, let me hear from Camden first. Camden.
Hi, Kibe.
What's up?
I don't know where to start, man. But I think to avoid rambling around, just thanks for the space. It's done wonders for me personally, because I think it's hard to sort of know that you're doing something wrong until you hear it from someone. I'm saying this because, I mean, most of us here are in maybe our 30s, late 20s, where we are raised in houses where you have this voice from your mother all the time, plotting against your father. And I think the biggest problem I have is, yes, we understand, we get this message now, where you now start thinking, you know what, my father isn't that bad. When you start thinking back, when you start understanding how you're also being treated in your own life. But how do you prevent this noise from getting to your children? Because no matter how you say, I'll be a good dad, whatever, I'll be a red pill dad, whatever it is, but how do you stop this noise from getting from your wife to your children? Because no matter what you think, kids are always going to be bonded to their mother until they start having common sense like some of us at the age. But until then, they'll have their mother in their ear all the time. So how do you stop that particular noise from getting to them? Do we have to wait until we're in our 30s and we're having manly conversations like this to now be like, okay, light bulb moment? Or can you have this conversation with your kids? Because even if you try and have a conversation with your kids in their teens about how life is like, would they really understand you? How do you prevent that? Because there's so many people who, like me, grow up, sort of hating their dad. But now when you're this age, you're like, you know what? It was all that noise you were hearing, but I have no idea what that man was going through. But how many people are like me, but have never heard this message, have never had these spaces, and have never come to realize that maybe actually that man is not evil as I've been told he is. But that's my predicament right now.
Interesting question. George, I wanted to hear George's opinion about that first before I get into that one. How do you stop the noise? You see, the one thing that we have been denied, and this is, I don't know whether it's an African problem, the one thing that we've been denied is the truth. The truth. We have grown up not knowing what the truth is. Because now look at someone like Garanja or The Rock. They do not know what the truth is behind what's happening. So if you want your children to grow up the right way, then you have to be truthful with them. And you must make sure that they follow what the truth is. It's simple. It's just truthful. What is the truth?
But then, Kibe, I'll give you a personal example, right? My father is not weak. Actually, I attribute to the man I am today based on how I look at my life, how I treat my relationships, as to how I saw him leading the house. Okay? He was a man who led, and literally my mother is the most feminine woman you can ever think about. But there's this thing where, because parents argue, they have their arguments, they have their discussions or whatever you call them, disagreements or whatever. But you have to understand that by default, because you've got your mom's mouth in your ear every time, by default you'll be biased as a child. It's only when you're maybe our ages where you can now be talking to fellow men and you're like, you know what, maybe I took a hard stance with my dad. Maybe let me go back. But what if you don't have that conversation? How can you prevent that from reaching the stage where we are now, where we have to now go back home and start repairing these messed up relationships or these messed up issues we have with our dads? Is it even possible?
Have you gone back to your parents? Are your parents still alive?
Oh yeah, they're both alive. They're still married.
So have you gone to them and have you gone to forgive them individually and forgive them for being the way they are?
Well, personally, from my side, what I did was, a couple of years back, I told my mom not to ever tell me anything that's happening in their marriage. I told her to say, don't you ever tell me anything, because if you hate this man so much, why are you still in that house? You chose to still stay in that house. You're still in that house. You're single-handedly making that decision because it starts affecting you as a child whether not a child, but as a man, but you are their child. It starts affecting you because every time something happens, they vent to you. And it's only when it starts affecting your relationships, your work, you're having these panic attacks, not panic attacks, but you're having these weird moments where you can't concentrate at work because you just had a call about how bad things are. And it's because I sat down and I had a conversation with my mentor at work who saw that slight dwindle in my performance. And he was like, dude, what's going on? At first, I thought it was just maybe relationship issues, maybe my girlfriend or whatever. But I thank God that I opened up to him. I told him exactly what was going on. And he sat me down and said, sort of exactly what we are hearing in this space is that they're not necessarily your problem. You have to cut it out.
But Camden, at the beginning of this conversation, you said your dad was a strong man.
Yes, very strong man.
How can he be a strong man if his wife is constantly checking him the way you say she was?
Checking in terms of what?
You said they were arguing. You say they're putting you in between their conversations or their arguments.
Yes.
So he could not have been a strong man because your mom kept challenging him. So you've grown up knowing one thing, and it has been another.
Yes. Exactly. And now because you are seated down and you are sort of, I mean, you are there in the house with everything happening, but bear in mind, you have your mother's mouth in your ear every time. That becomes that makes you biased towards one side of the story by default, right? Because you're young, you're in your teens and everything. Now, my question initially was, how do you prevent that from happening? Because you can be strong as you want, Kibe, and have your kids tell them whatever they want to hear, but they will always be biased towards what they're hearing more, which is their mother's voice. Don't know if that makes sense, though.
No, it doesn't, because kids yearn for their fathers. Children yearn for their fathers because their fathers are the ones who give them that direction, the love. Whatever the children need, they get it from their fathers. You know, women are supposed to raise the child into a boy, and then now the men take over from there. Okay? Then now the men turn the boy into a man. You know, the father turns the boy into a man. So the kids yearn for their parents. I mean, for their fathers. Even the girls, they yearn for that strength from their father.
Yes.
So if the woman comes in between and destroys the man, then the boy becomes like the woman.
To a large extent, yes.
Yes. So if the man is weak, like now maybe the way your dad was, then there's going to be a problem in who is the power in the house.
Okay.
Then that's when you start saying things like you have your mom in your ear, because then it's not clear who is leading this house. Is it your mom or is it the dad? And because your mom spends a lot of time with you, then it's easy for her to control you because she's not under any authority. Your dad was not an authority in her life.
But then I think also one thing which I think I'll try and repeat is that when parents argue, no matter how they can try and hide it from the kids, your kids know that these guys are not really in a good space. Now, as a man, you might try to not tell the kid what's going on. You just play it quiet because you're dealing with your wife on your own. But what if your wife, Kibe, I know you're not married, but what if your wife, despite your efforts not to include your kids in your arguments, goes behind your back and starts telling things which the kids can slightly see, and they'll be like, oh, okay, so actually that's what's happening right now. Oh, okay, cool. You know, so but by default, before you realize you have got these rebels in your house against you, whether you're a strong man or not, but because they have been slightly behind your back, being told that you are not as good as they think, you know.
So what do you do in an organization where you have dissent?
Well, I mean, that's a bit different because in an organization you're all mature and that's you're dealing with kids.
No. In this case, you're dealing with your woman and these children. It's an institution. What do you do when you cannot longer be in charge of the institution that you have created for yourself? I mean, this is your wife and these are your children. How can they they overwhelm you? It's impossible. It means you're not in charge. If you're not in charge, then just sit the fuck down and shut up. And continue raising, because that's what probably happened with your father. It happened with all our fathers, bro. So you want to say they are strong, but they were never strong. They gave in to the women. They compromised. They let the women lead them. And now look at the way we turned out. We became weak. We cannot make decisions as men. We don't know where we are going. We have no idea. We argue with our women. When you see a man and a woman arguing, that man is weak. Because that woman does not respect him at all. A woman who's going to open her mouth to argue with a man, she doesn't respect him. So your dad is in the house. The wife is arguing with him. The kids are going to take the mother's side. Because when the two voices are up, you guys are hearing the voice of the man like it is very authoritative, yet it has no power. But now the sweet voice of your mother is what you gravitate towards, and you see your dad as evil. But your dad is in the same predicament most men are right now. A woman is a woman, a man is a man. Just because she's your mother doesn't change her nature, and she doesn't stop being a woman.
Yeah, I get your point. But I'm saying this because I'll give an example, another example which is quite fascinating. So because of that divide, right, in the house, when my sister was getting married a couple of weeks back, my father was stopped from escorting her down the aisle by my brother, my younger brother, my mother, and probably her side of the family, my mom's side of the family. But this is a culmination of a lot of things that have happened so far, to a point. But now, here's what I'm trying to say. I could see the bad nature of that move, because I'm now able to have conversations and hear other people speak of the same issues and how they have realized that actually no, you're not gonna be a man and side with this other side. You have to understand where your father's coming from. He's not the perfect man, but then my younger brother, I don't think he's got the same voice in his ear like we have on some of these spaces where it starts checking you slowly. And you're like, you know what? Maybe I'm not, siding with the right side, or I shouldn't even be siding at all, because that's their marriage. But my main point is there are so many men out there who are not in these spaces.
No. Before you get there, so your dad, your sister is getting married.
Yes.
And your brother stops him from walking her down the aisle. What's the reason behind that?
Family drama. Apparently my dad didn't support at first the marriage, or the pending marriage. He didn't want to go to the wedding because of other issues, which I won't divert into right now. But the issue was, later on he changed his mind and said, you know what, fine, I'll come. I'll be there. But my apparently my sister was so hell-bent on saying, no, I don't want him near me, sweating me. But the issue I had was, if my mother did say to my sister to say, no, you cannot stop my husband from escorting you down the aisle, then this won't be good. It wouldn't have happened. So by and large, my brother, had support of my mother and the other women from my mother's side by default. So it's like a circle of women, but then my brother doesn't know what's happening, because he's had this bias directed towards my dad, because we've had this noise from our mother for a long time. So you never know that it's happening until we are in spaces like this. That's my problem now, because there are so many men, literally you've got no idea, who have got.
So wait! You're running again. So you guys are in the church.
Okay, I didn't go to the wedding, actually. I didn't go because I couldn't get my leave days from.
All right. So who walked her down the aisle?
My brother, my younger brother.
Are you guys stupid?
What my father was in the church. Actually,
and your dad was there.
Actually, I said to my dad to say, if I was there, I would have grabbed you by the arm and said, let's leave this bloody place. Because there's no way someone can disrespect my father in front of everybody, no matter what differences you have. But that was the biggest disrespect. But that's the end part. What I'm saying is it's culminated for over years of that noise coming in. It's like things don't just get to that level. I've just rushed to the end, but things don't just get to that level. It happens over years.
So when I asked you, have you gone to forgive your parents? What did you say?
Well, I told my mom a couple of years back. First, I think I started by telling her, I said, don't ever tell me what's happening with your husband anymore, because I feel like it's your choice to stay with him. If you hate him this much as you say, why are you still with him? But it's all that biased way where they're trying to page you against him because,
So did you go and forgive your mother?
Forgive in terms of what? I don't think there's anything to forgive, because I now know better. I just avoid those stupid discussions. I just avoid those stupid moves if they are being made. I just like, no, I cannot do this. That's how I avoid things. That's how I forgive things, I guess.
So this person has been in your life. They've fucked you up all this much. You have seen how much damage they're doing even with your brothers and your sisters. So you know the damage that is happening in this family, and it's because of this evil mom and this weak father. So have you gone to forgive them for the way they are? Because they are still in your head. You see, the only way you get somebody out of your head is if you forgive them and you take back your power from them. Because once you forgive somebody, then they cannot come back to you the same way they used to come. So you have not forgiven your mom. So you need to go forgive your mom. And you go tell her, hey, mom, you know what? I realized that I've been angry at you guys for all this time. Yet your life is your life. And whatever you did to me, I forgive you. I'm not angry anymore because that anger is going to kill me. And then you do the same with your dad and tell him, bro, I realize that you've been in an impossible situation and I've resented you for nothing. But you've been weak. And that weakness is on you, so I can't help that. But for me right now, I forgive you, man. I'm not angry at you anymore. So that now that manipulation can end, at least from your side. So whether your mom destroys her family or not, that has nothing to do with you, bro. If they all die, they die. But you get out of that matrix. Are you seeing how you do it? You get out of that nonsense because now you've been pulled in, and here you are now picking sides.
But then I think I'm not really angry with any of them because I stopped taking sides a while back. I look at things from an objective perspective. All I'm saying is I don't side with her side more or his side less. I just basically stay in my lane and say, no, this is none of my business. I don't have any grudge against them. I realized I saw through the lies in the middle of the lines and said, you know what? No, this is not my fight. This is not my fight. So I'm not really angry with any of them. But all I'm saying is, how do you prevent it, first of all, from happening as your kids are growing? I mean, the dad was weak, but anyway. But my point is, how do you prevent that? Because there are so many men, you've got no idea. Because most of us, despite having a strong father or whatever it is, you still have got your mother in your ear.
But Camden,
that's my worry.
I'm trying to tell you, so you need to understand this. You said at the beginning of this conversation that you had a strong father.
Oh, yeah.
But you don't. Okay. He was weak as fuck, bro. He wasn't strong. So whatever it is you thought you knew, you didn't know. So your father is not weak. I mean, he's not strong. He's weak. And your mom is not good. She's evil. So until you come to terms with that reality and now know how to deal with it, you're still going to have this fairy tale in your head, which is what you're still pushing. Get rid of that fairy tale and understand what is going on here. Right? This is your dad. He was taken out by your mom, and that is their business. Okay? Your work is to forgive these people so that they no longer have any influence in your decisions. Okay? So that you get them out of your head. Because once you get your mom out of your head or you get your dad out of your head, now you can go and become that individual that you're supposed to be. And you're not. Look at you. You're still having this discussion even now.
No. I'm just saying this because I'm trying to ask you a question to say, because I think my main point was to say, as we're getting on and probably going to get married or whatever it is, how do you prevent that from happening? Because you're saying that, oh, by the way, your wife, you have to keep your wife in check if she's arguing with you. But what if you, as my dad used to do, not tell you what's going on? But you would know as kids, these guys are not really in a good space. But then your mom is coming behind his back. Because what's happening, that's why it's good behind your back, because you don't see it happening. You don't realize years later that, oh, okay, there's this army that has been formed against me. But that happens years later. It happens behind your back. That's why I'm trying to find out, to say, no matter what you tell your kids, but by default, almost any man here who was raised in a two-parent household would know that you're most likely going to hear more from your mother. How do you prevent that as a man? Because it's happening behind your back. It's not in your face. If it's in your face, you're lucky. Fine, you can see it happening. You can try and control it. But but then it's happening behind your back. And these kids will love you, but deep down you know that, you know what, I think these kids are more aligned to their mother. Why would they be more aligned to their mother when they know that you're the sacrifice? I mean, all the sacrifices you're making for them. So by default, you should know that, you know what, there's something maybe I don't know it's happening. And you never know, because even if you ask, you sound stupid.
Okay, hold on. Hold on.
In their 30s that, okay, these kids actually were taught something I didn't know about.
Hold on, Camden. Let me hear from Mwasi. Hold on, Camden. Mwasi, you want to say something about this? Mwasi. Where is this Mwasi guy?
Yes, I'm here, man. What's up?
All right, go ahead.
I just want to say something very briefly. Normally when kids grow, most of the time they're with the mother. And they'll always live with this almost for the rest of their lives. Only very few ones on their own, maybe from the way they interact with the environment, may decide to do things otherwise. Because naturally, most boys will always associate with the mother, and the girls naturally associate with the father for a simple reason. When you're very young, you would always listen to somebody of the opposite sex. And given that your mom gives you almost everything, the food and all that, when you're hungry, she's the one who is there all the time. So your reasoning is tied to what you're seeing, not where the food came from. Of course, in most cases, the fathers will provide. But that is not your reasoning at that level. So you always see your mother as everything. But the girls will always kind of rebel, but associate with the father just because they're different from the mother. So very few of men or women grow up naturally later to realize that what if my mother was wrong or my father was wrong? Many people don't think that way. When you start to think that way, then you'll know, you'll easily separate wheat from chaff. Even into the arguments they had when you're young, you can only see them at that level later. Like now we are talking here. You're asking some men here, for example, what if your mother was wrong? And that's when it clicks into them. Oh, probably, maybe my mother was wrong. But you see, they're realizing 30 years later. That is, I call it slow maturity. But what you should always realize is that as you grow when you're young, there are things that you naturally associate with. It doesn't mean that your father at that point was wrong or your mother was wrong, but you need to reason later when you are becoming an adult or you're maturing that what if this is this way? So don't always believe that your mother is always right, or don't always believe that your father is always right. Always reason when you become an adult, because you're no longer thinking like a child. So as I've just said, there's that biological inclination where girls will associate with their father, the boys will associate with the mother. That one almost grows into everybody towards old age. But there are those who, when they mature, they now separate wheat from chaff. They're able to know when to deal with the mother, when to deal with the father. For example, as I even said here earlier, I think my first time when I commented in this space, most of my brothers don't even talk with their dad. But I'm the firstborn son. I talk to all of them. They're separated, yes. I talk to my mom, I talk to my dad, both of them, and I like my dad, even more than my mom. So they don't always understand why. But I always try to pump this into them and tell them that when you're a child, you'll always think like a child. And unfortunately, some of you still think like children, even in old age. So that's the comment I can say about this guy who's just talking here. He just needs to mature up and see things from a different perspective. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mwasi. Let's close this up. Let's close this up. It's been a nice, interesting Thursday. If you want to say something, you have 30 seconds that you want to close it up with. Edwin, what do you want to say?
No, unfortunately, mine is a question. Based on the story, the former speakers about his father, I just want to ask a question based on that story. Is when a man is strong in a family, does that mean his strength is in having his way or standing his ground? How do you exercise your strength? Because as much, even if you're a strong man, your strength will always be tested with your children, with your friends, with your wife especially.
Yes.
So how do you become strong in such a situation?
So you see, you have to recognize one thing, that this is your family, okay? This is your family. You're not theirs. They are yours. You're the one who has brought these people together. You brought the woman here, and then you pumped her full of semen. She gave you children. So this is you who has done this. So you must take responsibility for that. And if you find that anybody who is challenging you, you must put the hammer down. You must always discipline your people so that they behave a certain way, because it's for the greater good. So discipline is the work of the man, both for his woman and for his children. He must discipline them. He must train them to be the right kind of people. He should lead his woman. A man is not led by a woman. He leads his woman. So whenever there's something wrong, he makes sure he puts, he lays down the law. This is the law. And my law does not change. This is how it's supposed to be. So you don't let anybody change your laws for you. So in the olden times, women and children were considered the same because they were on that side and then men were on this side. So the women were not advising men the way you guys are being advised by your women nowadays. I see you guys sitting down having discussions. So you must put the law down, and remember, this is your company. It's in the best interest that people respect you and follow your instructions. If they cannot do that, then they have to leave. When I was 18, I think I just turned 18. There's a night I went out and I came back, I think around 1 o'clock. And my dad told me, you sleep outside. And I slept outside. It was very cold. But I never went back to his house at 1 o'clock. I mean, just for that moment, it looks very, very evil and very brutal when you see it happening. Yeah, if you saw me sitting outside freezing my ass off, you would think this guy is very evil. But that lesson had to be learned. I had to learn the lesson that I cannot challenge him in his own house and get away with it. So you, if you're a man and somebody challenges you, maybe your son has grown up to a point where, like I think when my son was 10 or 11, he felt like he was strong enough. He said, come, let's do arm wrestling. I was like, yeah, let's do it. I mean, I didn't even give him an inch for him to think that for a second that his strength is growing to a point where he can take me out. I don't play those games. Don't challenge me. Not in my house. Go build your own house out there. So if the wife is challenging you, then you have a problem. Your wife should not be challenging you. Your wife should be in total submission to you. So if you find that your wife is challenging you, then she's not your wife. She cannot be your wife if she's challenging you, because what she's doing to the kids, she's messing up the kids. The kids are going to grow up seeing a woman challenging a man in the house every day. How is that possible? So they're going to take that nonsense to their husbands. If a wife is...
Can even if you find a perfect wife who has been raised in a perfect family where the order was straight up, the man was in charge, if children grow up and they become rebellious, now what of your wife? Even if she will always be tempted to test your strength.
Yeah, but that is if you're weak. You see, the premise of the engagement, how did you engage with this girl? Why are you having this kind of interactions with her? Because when you engaged her, you probably engaged her when you were broke and starting off and said, let's build a life together. So she has known you through your strengths and your weaknesses. She knows exactly how you react to everything. But if you're set in your ways and you get a woman, then she's coming into your life. You guys are not building a life together. You're set in your ways. You know exactly what you want, what time you wake up, what time you go to job, what you like, what you don't like. So she's not coming in to interrupt your life. She's coming in so that she can get kids for you and raise them for you. So she has to fall in line, and the kids have to fall in line. So this nonsense of checking each other doesn't work. All right. Thank you, Edwin. Felix, you want to close it up?
Yeah. I want to close it up. So today we want to throw her back, but we have not done that.
We've not thrown anyone.
We went to philosophical Tuesdays, man.
And we started talking about Lilith.
We introduced another creature called Lilith.
Where did that chick come with that story from? What was that about?
That was about, feminists having a ground for their misbehavior and their evil.
But why bring it here?
Because she knows here we talk man stuff. So since she has seen us give a platform to ladies, she thought she can come here and start speaking to our ears and then make us have a new way of viewing the feminist gang. So as I close it up, since today was a throw her back Thursday, I would want us to start seeing women for who they are, not the fake clothes, the fake eyelashes, the fake eyelids, and the fake lifestyles. One thing a woman cannot fake is the people she sleeps with, she has sex with. So it's high time we start gauging ladies and knowing their worth in terms of the men they sleep around with. That man she sleeps with, that is her. You get that?
Where is that coming from?
That's coming from a certain presentation you had with Menje, where Menje was bashing you for almost going with the Tufukuswis over ladies.
And remember how she was trying to make fun of me, saying that I go with very useless women, and yet
and then you turned it on her, and she was, "Are we going to do this?"
Yeah. Do not throw stones if you live in a glass house, bro.
So women, however much they prop up themselves to be classy, blah blah blah, they are those they sleep with.
Very good. You are as good as the people you sleep with.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
And that's my submission.
Thank you, my man. Thank you. Appreciate that. You are as good as the people you sleep with. That's very true, bro. I look at the people so nowadays I've upgraded the people I sleep with. So I can't even find them anymore because the ratchets only exist in Kenya. So there's no level of person I can find in America because hey, Karanja. So I'll give a chance to only the ones who put up their hands today because it's been a long morning. Well, Karanja, go ahead.
Since like you are wrapping it up, I'll say this is my 6th month listening to you, and I would first like to appreciate to you and George because it's like you gave my life back. So there are some things I have been able to deal with. The girls, they were so much in my head, and then the religion, and now this is another journey I have begun of dealing with my family issues, especially the dad. So keep doing this. This is a very nice space. It is making us men we will not have come. So keep doing it. That's all.
All right. Thank you, Karanja. Appreciate it. Remember, Karanja, also to forgive these creatures, okay? forgiveness will give you a new lease of life. Trust me on this one, gentlemen. Forgiveness. This anger that you have is because of unforgiveness. Because things happened to you, and when they happened to you, you see, if things are happening to you now and you have no control, then that's a problem. But things happened to you when you were a kid. That time you couldn't help it. Whatever happened, happened. So you have to forgive them so that you can take back your life for yourself. Thank you very much, Karanja. Appreciate it. Camden, are you here?
Yes, Kibe.
All right, give me your submission if you have any.
I think one thing that I always say that I've learned throughout my life is don't try and play God. If you died today, parents will still be okay. Everybody else who you are trying to play God on will be okay. Protect your space, protect your time, protect yourself, your happiness, and just don't play God. That's all.
All right, thank you, Camden. Appreciate that. Who is this? The Rock, are you here? Rock.
Yes, Kibe. I'm just going to try the experiment like George tried, and I'll see how things end up turning out for me. This is something I'm very interested to try. Even at least for like 1 month.
Yeah, just send them a message today and tell them, oh my God, I lost my job and everything, and things are so bad for me right now. I'll need some time before I can get things back together. See that conversation, how it goes, how it becomes dry very fast.
I don't even have to say that. I can even say that somehow someone hacked my account and my bank put my account down, something like this.
So this is just for you to gauge and see how much of hyenas they are. All right, thank you, Rock. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
McKenna, you still here?
Yes, I'm here, Kibe.
All right, give me your submission, bro.
Maybe I would like to comment on Felix said we didn't cover anything to do with Freud past Thursday, and maybe I can throw one point across to touch on that. So since we from what Mariam
McKenna, we can't hear you at all. You sound so far.
Oh, sorry, man. I'm driving. I'll thank you. I think
let's catch up tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Tato, are you still here?
Keep a great space as always, man. I just wanted to say I really enjoyed the lessons that we all kind of threw to each other in terms of, it kind of put women aside. It focused more on us and what we need to do in terms of taking responsibility and not being taken advantage of, and just understanding what your lane is and sticking to your lane. So wonderful space, gentlemen. I really enjoyed the input from everyone. Take it easy.
Thank you, Tato. Thank you. Trying to remember to say Tato at the same time. All right, Brian, take us home.
First off, maximum appreciation for what you and the host George are doing. Now, I'll close it by giving a closing sub that may sound a bit weird. Since we're on Throwback Thursday, I'm suggesting, in a reference to the number of times these spaces have undergone some aspects of destabilization and rocking of the cause due to presence of feminine energy, I'm suggesting if we can limit presence of women in these spaces on Fridays for 10 minutes only. Thank you so much. You saw what happened to me. You remember what happened to me, Tikbe? You recall what happened to me?
Tikbe took you out, bro. Tikbe took you out quick, fast.
Yeah, so let's make it Friday, maximum 10. You will run some kind of a timer. 10 minutes are up. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank you, my man. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. I know, 10 minutes. George, I don't know whether George, are you still there? Georgie must be. This guy works all the time, so he must be gone by now. All right, thank you, gentlemen. As always, I appreciate your presence here today. I will see you tomorrow for Open Mic Fridays. As always, this has been a production of Rogue Radio Live. Remember to catch us to catch me rather on YouTube at 10 p.m. every day Kenyan time, Monday through Friday as well. Also remember to join my patreon.com/KibeAndrew. It has been real. Thank you, gentlemen. I've really enjoyed this discussion today. And what we've discussed, bro, just do not let anybody manipulate you. Bro, run away from manipulation. If you sense even your child manipulating you, even with tears, run. Block that shit. It doesn't matter who. Have real conversations with real people. If somebody's not real, kick them out of your life. Have real conversations. I will see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy your day, all right?